Welcome everyone to Tech Tuesday here on Northwest Digital News. Sitting on your screen, Harry Brelsford there, coming to us live out of Seattle. Kevin Hunter and Kyle Torgerson here at the broadcast desk. And we have some previews for you on a number of tech events. So let's start with May 8th.
All righty, and always a pleasure to be here on Tuesdays. By the way, I'm literally having coffee while I'm under some coffee art. So let's have a.
You got your priorities straight today, Harry.
There we go. You know, I think it could be a new thing. How about Tech Tuesdays coffee or something? You know, there's something here.
Yeah.
So in any event, let me give it some context. By the way, I understand that you all enjoyed the remainder of the show last week with Rami and the surveying. He spoke highly of the event. And folks, if you missed it, you can see it up on the YouTube channel.
Yes.
But let's get going with what we're doing. So, as I've said in the past, SMBNation, we have a quarterly academic series called Tech Talk, MSP Tech Talk. And it's that time again, and before everybody goes on summer break. And so I wanted to highlight a couple of topics that are coming up. May 8th, tomorrow, folks, still time to sign up. You can go to the M365Nation site or my traditional company, SMBNation.com, and sign up for the big reveal. We're revealing the Microsoft 365 Nation tomorrow. And Kevin, what we're doing is we're bringing some published authors and contributors, much like you handle Northwest Digital News. We're bringing them on to offer insights on the issues of the day, and one of them being security, always top of mind. And so tomorrow, folks, it's probably going to be 30 to 60 minutes, but we're going to walk you through the M365 Nation community. And the goal of the big reveal is to get people excited and get them participating. And Kevin, what that means is that my heart's heavy from the way user groups used to be 200 to 300 people back in the 1990s. You remember the Thursday night with free pizza?
Yep.
And you would go talk about Windows, or you go talk about a thing called Novell NetWare. And for whatever reason, those have declined across the board. And maybe it's the social media fills that role. Maybe search fills that role, that you can now get answers. But, you know, Kevin, the one thing they're missing is the relationship, right? You can, it could be argued social media is not a bona fide relationship.
Yeah. Yeah, one of those, it's probably one of those worst abuses of the word social, because it's actually not that social at all.
Exactly. So what we're trying to do is bring back community, you know, get people talking to each other again. And then in the write-up I have for tomorrow, that, you know, I'm going to take a little poll and see if people want us to bring back the beer summits. And what a beer summit is with my travel. If I find myself in Orlando, I typically stay an extra day. And that Thursday night, I put down my credit card at a establishment, and we typically see 25 people come in for a beer summit. First beer is on me, second beer is on me, third beer is on you. And but, you know, Kevin, it does wonders. I mean, it's the old, you know, that's why we have an American Bar Association for lawyers, and we have the American Medical Association for doctors, and they have their conventions and events, right? So you can socialize.
Yep.
So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. May 8th, tomorrow at noon Pacific. Go to the website you see up there. If you'd like to join us, please do.
So, you know, if you have the beer summits, you kind of have your own bar association.
Good one. I didn't even think of that.
All right, so let's talk about May 22nd, end of support EOS.
Yeah, so this is a sneaker topic. For whatever reason, in the business technology community, which is why we're here on this show, half business, half technology, Kevin, we're all procrastinators. I don't know why, because these are very important deadlines to be aware of. But when Windows XP went to end of life on, believe it or not, April 14th, 2014. Because A, I was there, and B, taxes were due the next day. But, Kevin, what we saw was that's when people started paying attention to the end of life, was on April 14th. You were supposed to be done by April 14th. And I'm afraid the same thing's going to happen. So the end of support is January 2020. Now let's think about that. We're in the month of May. Let's just call it a gentleman's mid-year. We're in my mind's eye, we're almost at mid-year. And we need to think that way, right? We're coming up on mid-year. You have really got to start planning now for these deadlines. And in particular, Windows 7, it's one thing if you're a home-based business with a home office, but boy, if you're in healthcare, there is some real liability here, right?
Absolutely.
With privacy and hacking. And trust me, the hackers know the support deadline. Server 2008 is going to expire at the same time. That's actually an easy one. The next two are easy. Server 08 and Exchange 10 are easy because, gentlemen, now everybody's moving over to Office 365, right? So that's actually a no-brainer. And then because Office 365, part of the Microsoft 365 family, is always up to date, right? The as a service, they make updates overnight. Kevin, I don't know if you ever see that, but do you ever get on your PC in the morning and maybe in Microsoft Word or Excel, there's a new feature, a new drop down, and it's like, well, where'd that come from?
Yes.
So want to encourage people to, this comes up a little bit later in the month. We have an expert in Josh Fryfield. And I think Josh is now going to talk a little bit more about his background. If I were to say he lived over on the other side of the aisle, if I said words like Kevin Mitnick, and then who was the Catch Me If You Can guy that was the fake airline pilot and fake doctor, Frank Abagnale.
Yeah, Abagnale.
Yeah. Josh has a little bit of a illustrious past in his youth. Today they're called hackers, so it's going to be a good show.
Well, let's move ahead to June 5th. You have Ken Dwight and Mickey J are presenting Encrypting Ransomware Targets MSPs. The good old ransomware.
Yeah, exactly. And, when we were rehearsing this show, I made mention just the other night, and folks, if, you go up on YouTube, you can find it. 60 Minutes last Sunday night had a very interesting segment about this topic affecting hospitals. And, I got to hand it to 60 Minutes, man. What are they, a 50-year-old show, and they're still relevant? I mean, that is really hard.
in today's world especially, very difficult. It used to be, when you think about years past, all these, even the major mall shops, to kind of shift the conversation a little bit, the retail, they had these anchor stores. And they could put a given brand there, and the mall would become immediately relevant because of these stores. And in these days, that's one of the reasons why malls have faded away into the background, is because the so-called anchor business doesn't exist anymore to that extent. So, but very much true with 60 Minutes. To remain relevant for as long as they have is quite the accomplishment.
Hey, by the way, I'll follow that left turn real quick, and we'll get back to the topic in early June. But there was an article yesterday, Monday, on LinkedIn about how malls are being converted to office space. And it was very interesting. Everything from WeWork, the co-worker spaces, to companies moving in and doing a redo. And I posted up on Facebook about this topic, and a friend of mine from Anchorage, Alaska, where I'm from, said that the University of Alaska took over a bankrupt mall, and turned it into a learning. Yeah, turned it into a learning. You got the parking, you got the room,
and all this indoor spaces. I mean, for that sort of thing. I mean, there's been conversation with a local mall here being converted potentially to government offices. So yeah, makes sense.
Exactly. Back on track. Early May. So this is really interesting. Ken Dwight is a trainer in the malware and antivirus area. I believe his nickname is Dr. Virus. It should actually be Dr. Antivirus, but but he's done this for like 30 years. He has a course, he has a curriculum, and he makes a living out of Houston, Texas. So what he's doing is training at the prevention level, right? So he would go in and talk to users and say, don't click these funny emails. Okay, so that be Ken. Then Mickey J, as he goes by, is quite a character out of Adelaide, Australia. And he's attacking malware at the code level. So he's more of an engineer. And so when you put Ken and Mickey J together, it's quite a team, right? They're very complementary. And there's something for everybody, because some people want the high-level conversation. Other people want to see the internals of a malware attack, right? The engineering behind it. And that's Mickey J. So that, I mean, all of these spring quarter MSP Tech Talk shows are must-dos and can't misses. However, if I had to point out one that I think is possibly the highest value add, it would be Ken Dwight and Mickey J with malware and encryption.
Very good. Well, folks, that's the preview on the May 8th, introducing Microsoft 365 Nation. Also, the May 22nd end of support on the various platforms. And then, of course, the June 5th one that Harry just mentioned. So if you would want more information, go to SMBNation.com. All of these are posted there. Thanks, Harry, for sharing that with us here on Tech Tuesday on Northwest Digital News. On behalf of Harry Brelsford, Kevin Hunter, Kyle Torgerson here on Northwest Digital News. Take care.
All righty.
This concludes today's live programming on Northwest Digital News. Thanks for joining us for this special broadcast. Heard around the world in more than 70 countries on YouTube, Instagram, Patreon, Facebook, and Twitch TV. If you enjoyed a story or guest we had here on Northwest Digital News and would like to strut your stuff on the broadcast, email us today at wainfo2017@gmail.com or call or text 360-545-3501. We're always interested in unique stories, topics, and guests to share with our worldwide audience. Before you go, don't forget to give us a big thumbs up and comment on the live stream. And for those of you who'd like to financially support the broadcast, you can do so at patreon.com/Northwest Digital News. We thank you for your patronage. On behalf of Chris Bornstead, Kyle Torgerson, Stephanie Hunter, and all the people that made this broadcast possible, I'm Kevin Hunter. Till next time, take care.